Aloha ho, it's me again. And I was asked to, I do readings and I'm often with the Kupuna from what is perceived to be the invisible world. And I have done this for years and it's taken me literally more than half my lifetime to be a little more comfortable, not totally knowing everything and understanding everything, but a little bit more comfortable. But I know that many of you who have stepped up to the plate are experiencing these things, and maybe you don't have all those years under your belt that I do. But there is so much love that comes from the other side. And to you who have listened, know that they will stand by you through the whole thing. And even in the darkest hour where you ask yourself, what on earth am I doing? Know that you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. We live in a time of light. There's more light on this planet than there has ever been. And it's a transitional, pivotal point for us as humans and for us as Hawaiians because of our spiritual connections. It is a defining moment for us. And for all the people who might not have the koko, who find themselves here at this very, very sacred time. And it's so sacred, but it seems so chaotic. But the real test is, are we going to listen? And we have to really dig deep. And so that's why we need to kako'o each other, and we need to trust. We need to trust Akua. Whether you have a Christian God or whether you acknowledge the Akua within yourself, the divine in yourself. When we get to the point where we can trust ourselves, then we can move forward with a little bit more fluidity. It's just a little bit easier because I can remember back in the days where I would doubt everything and your mind plays games on you and then you really overthink and you think too much. But now I'm at a stage, it's like I get an instruction and it's like, got it. Okay, let's move on. And it's not an easy process to always do that, And we're so used to having been taught that only the empirical, only what you can feel and touch and see and hear is what's real. And it's quite the opposite. It's those little quiet little things. And sometimes they're really in your face, the kupuna tuya. It's not the quiet little voice you hear or the subtle thing. It's like, hello, we're waiting for you. We've been waiting. I thought you was going to do this. But, I have always followed. And I believe that's why they continue to come to me. Because they've asked me to do things. And I've always done that. And for you guys, you've been asked to step up to the plate. And, the whole legal, worldly, material world of money and capitalism and the whole process and predicament of why we're even standing for our Mauna. That's a very superficial thing because there will come a time when things are set right. But the most important thing that is happening at this time is the awakening of the aloha within us. It's that kapu aloha. And I always say that aloha is a state of being, but this is how fast things are moving. At one point, aloha was a way of being, a way to live. Now, aloha has to be shown through action and service. And you are serving all of humanity by taking your stand for our Mauna. And in time, things will show that. But it's so important that we hold on in the midst of all of the materialism and the legal process that's currently set up, that in the midst of that, we go back and we stay in Pule, that we hang on to the spiritual, because that is the path that we are being led to. And it's not a religious path, it's a spiritual path. Religion is trying to understand from such a limited human point of being certain spiritual things. But as Hawaiians, we know that we carry a legacy of spirituality. As humans, we know that we are 99% spirit and 1% flesh and blood. But the really cool thing that's happening right now is that as the vibration is increasing, even our physical bodies, our DNA, is now moving at a higher vibration. So that big abyss that used to separate, what seems to separate the spiritual and physical, doesn't exist. What really exists is our understanding and then the perspective with which we see the world. You know, we don't have a this is physical, this is material, this is emotional, this is mental. It really is all just parts and different aspects of the same thing. And our mind wasn't developed enough to understand it without departmentalizing and dividing. But now we're coming to a point where we're able to mesh the two together and begin to have an understanding. And sometimes the understanding is only still in your heart. You're not yet able to articulate it with words, or you're not able to process it through cognitive ways and thinking it out, and it doesn't seem to make sense. And yet when we go into ceremony, it makes sense. When we're in those sacred spaces at that time, surrounded by all these wonderful people, it makes sense and we understand. And we have to know that it is totally okay not to understand 24/7, because we still have this other world that we're transitioning out of. And so, you know, as I watch the testimony and I see the heartfelt words that are spoken, but I hear, but I kind of really don't understand and I don't know. And that's what I want to address, that you do understand and you do know, but it might not be on a mental level. But we understand with our heart, we understand with our now, because we are where we are and we're doing what we're doing, you know. And bless Chandel, because all of the food that she provides and has gone about to getting, she's nourishing the physical part, because we got to keep going. We got to keep going. And, you know, sitting there for hours and listening. And, you know, and I want to acknowledge BMO for giving us on other islands the opportunity to do that little financial help, you know, because I can tell you that money a year from now, it's not going to make any difference, yes or no, whether we had it, but it will have made a difference for you guys, and we want to support you and we want to do that. But it's this converging and this coming together of us as people becoming whole, and what that means. And when we're whole, we are holy, and that's where the word comes from. When we're able to have that consistency and have our physical being come together with our emotional and our mental and our spiritual, and then we will be whole, and then we turn holy, like people like Halimakua and other people that we've had the privilege of being with. But, you know, that's not just for them. It's for all of us. And so as we awaken in us this aloha, this deep, deep aloha of trust, of love, of wanting to serve other people, of wanting to give, we become that. And we will become light. And when we're light, then we don't have to be like the doctors. Okay, well, you know, it's a physical ailment, but, you know, your emotional state influences and all of that. We really know they are connected. They're all connected. And so we need to strive to bring all of those aspects of our lives together. And once it's consistent, we will be whole and we will be holy. And when you begin to experience that, you will never have felt a greater peace or joy. Not happy, but this inner peace and joy that you have, because you feel so connected with everybody. It's not a matter of knowing them for 5 years or 20 years. Nowadays, it's a heart-to-heart, it's a spirit-to-spirit connection. And you know that you can trust. And so I hope that these words, you know, we speak these words often in our women's circles when we talk about our own healing, and as we talk about how do we proceed with this in our daily life. And I hope that this little bit helps you guys out there. Aloha no kako.